Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This video is gonna be about my commentary on Tiger King. I'm assuming since you clicked on this video, you know what Tiger King is. When I first heard about Tiger King, it was actually a close friend of mine. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna plan to watch Tiger King on Netflix. There's all this hype around Tiger King. And then I was like, don't you mean Lion King? He's like, no, Tiger King. I'm like, oh, okay. I was just overall excited, you know what I mean? Because I am a college student majoring in ecology and evolution. So anything that deals with wildlife, organisms, animals, documentary, I am into. You bet I watched that thing in one day. I'm gonna tell you my opinions about it. It wasn't what I expected. I had higher expectations for Tiger King. I'm gonna tell you why later. Actually, I think I'm gonna do like a little recap on what Tiger King is in case you don't know what Tiger King is. So Tiger King is an 8-part series on Netflix and it's been popular ever since it got released a month ago. So we have this main character, Joe Exotic, who owns a roadside zoo and is a citizen of Oklahoma. And he breeds tigers and he makes profit off of them, which is illegal. It's very illegal. And we have this other, his rival, Carol Baskin, who owns Big Cat's Sanctuary. So the difference between a zoo and a sanctuary: a zoo is basically a place where they've brought animals from the wildlife and just put them in the zoo, or they've bred the wildlife animals and they've just been born captive their whole lives. And a sanctuary is when they bring in animals who've been injured, who no longer can be able to live in the wildlife. They've just been captive their whole lives. The reason why you can't let go an animal who's been used to being captive their whole lives is because if you were to release them in the wildlife, they have no tools, no knowledge of how to survive in the wildlife since they are used to you giving them food. They're not used to hunting for food, and they're not used to seeing other animals that they've never lived with, and they just wouldn't survive on their own. So that's why they have to live in these sanctuaries or zoos. But Joe Exotic Zoo is private, so it is all owned by him. I'm just gonna give like a brief disclaimer. I do not want to spoil anything for you, so if you're planning to watch the series on Netflix, I suggest you skip over parts of the video, or you could just not watch the video and watch Tiger King and come back to this video and just let me know what you think. But anyways, let's get on to the nitty-gritty. This is gonna be like the little things that bothered me. So I couldn't help but to think that when Carol Baskin was talking about Joe Exotic's treatment of his animals, that she was saying that how Joe Exotic has cages, that is not right. But then again, she has cages in her sanctuary as well, so she's not in the right here either. I mean, the private zoo is way different from her sanctuary, but she has similar practices, so she's not, you can't fully let that go, you know. Another thing that I was confused on was when Jeff Lowe and John Gerritsen turned in Joe Exotic to the police. I was confused on how come they didn't get charges as well, I mean, I know they turned in Joe Exotic, but I thought they were gonna get charges from all the other things that they've done, other than like the murder plot thing. I was just really confused, like why? Why were they just let go without anything? Now the part that I was upset about Tiger King was that the producer decided to portray or make the focus of the whole series Joe Exotic. I mean, I was waiting until like a researcher, wildlife biologist, someone with credibility to explain what is going on and inform people and educate people the right way to handle situations and wildlife restrictions and inform people. But no, they just had like these people just throw drama and dirt on each other and it wasn't credible at all. I would have wanted this TV show to have the main message of the exploitation of tigers and exotic animals and how much of a problem it is to this day, but no, they just decided to make the main focus Joe Exotic. Carole Baskin and her husband recently spoke out about them being disappointed and kind of disgusted by how they were painted in the series. They were told that the docu-series was gonna have Joe Exotic, but not the whole series was gonna be revolved around him. And they were told that it was about the trade and the mistreatment of tigers and lions and the black market surrounding exotic animals. So what happened there? I did a little bit of research as to how Joe Exotic was able to obtain these animals, and this is what I found. So it says, summary, this Oklahoma statute states that no person may breed, possess, or raise native wildlife except fish, amphibians, aquatic reptiles, aquatic invertebrates, or exotic livestock for commercial purposes without first obtaining a commercial wildlife breeder's license from the director. So this explains how Joe Exotic and in the state of Oklahoma is able to have like a private zoo. And obviously throughout the United States, each state has different regulations about exotic animals. For me personally, I don't think private zoos should exist. I don't want animals to have to handle abuse from their owners, such as Joe Exotic. Another thing that I was worried about this was how Joe Exotic was glamorized in this series as an anti-hero and fans were gonna adore him and everything. I just don't think he should be supported in this type of behavior and the acts that he committed. Like him murdering 5 tigers, the murder plot wasn't okay. Like I don't want him to think that like now that he has fame that he's gonna get away with it. Like now he's in prison serving justice for what he did. But I just don't want him to think that he's like a hero of some sort. I just didn't like how the docuseries dove into people's personal lives. The accusation of Carole Baskin murdering her husband and feeding him into the tigers, like that has nothing to do with with anything. But there's no evidence to prove that she had anything to do with the disappearance of her husband. Not to say that she's not involved, but there's just no evidence to say so, in my opinion. I'm glad that Netflix is sort of bringing to light this situation with tigers, but I was just disappointed in the way it was set up. I I would have wanted it to be more about the tigers, but less about Joe Exotic. I just didn't like how there was too much drama included. I just wanted to learn more about the tigers. That's the most important part of this docu-series to me. It's just the exploitation of these tigers. I don't care about no Joe Exotic. I don't care about no Carol Baskin. Like, I think the main focus is these tigers. Oh man, I would have wished it was different. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Hey, this is a clip that I did later. I forgot to say these points as well, but when Joe Exotic was showing off, when he had his roadside zoo, he was showing off his tigers to his audience. It was like, you know what the difference between your cat and my tigers? That mine have 3-inch teeth. Like, no, that is not the only difference between a house cat and a tiger. Joe Exotic's roadside zoo I classify as animal harm, animal abuse. And no, I don't mean like hitting physically the tigers, but also psychological damage to these animals. In videos, you can see that there's multiple tigers in one enclosure, and that many tigers in one enclosure can damage them psychologically. You can see in SeaWorld how the orcas, when you put solitary animals into a forced community, they start to change their behavioral patterns, and you've seen like increased aggression with them. They don't get along with each other anymore. It's just forcing solitary animals to be confined in and restricted in this one enclosure, and I just don't agree with that. I think that's abuse. It just sickens my stomach to see them suffering. And even in their enclosures, there's no resemblance to their natural habitat. You don't see vegetation. It's just dirt and a cage. That's all it has in there. I was upset to see that. I just don't believe in that. I don't think that he should be able to have those animals. This is actually a recent update. I know what's going on right now. So 39 tigers that were previously in Joe Exotic's zoo were transported into another sanctuary, and they live happily. The sanctuary is a lot more room, a lot more freedom for them to roam. Right now they're actually struggling to get food resources to these tigers because it costs a lot of money to feed these tigers due to the epidemic and everything. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's not too short. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe, you know the gist, and I hope to see you in the next video.